Welcome to week 10 in organization, leadership, and decision making. Jumping right in, our agenda today will be similar to it is every week. We're going to go over the assignments and then we'll talk a little bit about some reading. First, the assignments. This week we're going to talk about information that's related to geographically distributed teams or dispersed teams. By the end of the week, you should be able to understand the tools that are typically used in a geographically dispersed teams and how those can be used effectively. You should be reading the article by Hill and Barton about empowering leadership and effective collaboration in geographically dispersed teams. The written assignment is based upon that article. So after you've read the article, then respond to the prompts of how do geographically dispersed teams collaborate effectively, and then please find at least 3 tools on the market that teams can use to collaborate in a geographically dispersed sort of situation. Note the pros and cons of each of the teams based upon your research. What would you recommend? And why? For week 11, which will be next week, we're going to talk about human resource management within organizations. By the end of the week, you should be able to understand the components of human resource management and evaluate how leaders select the best talent and tools utilized to utilize select the top talent. How do you find the best people? And for that week, you should be reading chapters 9 and 10. For the discussion for week 11, based upon that reading, discuss the key components of human resource management, pick at least 4 concepts from chapter 9, and discuss how these concepts interrelate to individual performance on a team, and then review table 9.2 and select one of the dimensions listed, note why it was chosen and how you relate to this behavior. If you have a personal experience, please share it. And then how do leaders select the best talent? What are some tools that they can use to select the best talent? So how can you find those good people? The rubric for the written assignments is as follows. It's the same as it always is. Do shoot for the excellent college. Moving on to our reading, we start with a discussion in chapter or part 3 instead of managing people and leadership. Chapter 9, human resource management and leadership. This is next week's chapter, but I'll go ahead and discuss it this week so that we're having something to talk about and somewhat getting ahead. The learning outcomes is after this chapter, you should be able to define human resource management and its relationship to organizational leadership. You should appreciate the scope and functions of human resource management and explain and evaluate the different theoretical approaches to studying human resource management. Assess the contribution of HRM to individual and organizational purposes and critique assumptions found in mainstream human resource management literature. So starting off with the introduction, organizations are dependent upon suitably talented people who have knowledge and skills working with physical and financial resources, which will add value and create a viable business or service. By understanding the role of human resource management, it helps to provide a framework understanding subsequent chapters on managing and developing people and leading change. So those are chapters 12 through 17. The nature of human resource management is the early studies exposed a soft and hard version of human resource management. Soft approaches was highly relevant to leadership as it emphasized human interactions, focusing on motivation, development, communication, and thus the quality of leadership follower relations. The hard approach views people as commodity or human resource that has a price, wage, and needs to be managed in the same way as other factors. Bratton and Gold in 2017 defined human resource management as a strategic approach to managing employment relations, which emphasizes that leveraging people's capabilities and commitment is critical to achieving sustainable competitive advantage or superior public service. This is accomplished through a distinct set of integrated employment practices, programs, and practices embedded in an organizational and societal context. This definition emphasizes the goal that underpins the process that applies organizational behavior, OB, and leadership knowledge to leverage people's potential capabilities to enhance individual and organizational performance. It conceives human resource management as embedded in a capitalist society and its associated ideologies and global structure. It reminds leaders that human knowledge and skills are a strategic resource that need investment and adherent management. The scope and functions of human resource management is managing employment relationships in the workplace. It's at the core of human resource management. The three major subdomains of human resource management knowledge were identified as being micro, so micro human resource management. The largest subdomain, managing individual employees in small work groups. Strategic human resource management revolves around the process of linking human resource strategies and business strategies and measures the effects on organizational performance. And international human resource management focuses on the management of people in global companies operating in more than one country. Key to human resource management activities include workplace or workforce management and planning, recruitment and selection, performance appraisals, training and development, rewards, employee relations, and human resource strategy and leadership. Theorizing human resource management, because it's oftentimes beneficial to utilize theories whenever we're talking about various topics. Models are important because they provide an analytic framework for studying human resource management. So a model is basically some means of representing information or relationships or data in a way so that you can attempt to predict what will happen if something changes. So oftentimes they're expressed in terms of mathematical functions or formulas, but at the end of it all, it's basically meant to be something that is simpler than the real world thing, that's easier to interact with and gives you some semblance of an accurate sort of reaction based upon inputs. The Michigan model of human resource management focused on selection, appraisal, training, and rewards. The Harvard model focused on situational factors, stakeholder interest, human resource policy choices, human resource outcomes, and long-term consequences and feedback loop through which the outputs flow directly into the organization and to the stakeholders. The story model of human resource management has a focus on beliefs and assumptions, strategic qualities, and critical role of managers and key levers. The Ulrich business partner model focuses on strategic partner, change agents, administrative experts, and employee champions. So how does human resource management contribute to the leadership process? And does human resource management make a difference to individual and organizational performance? So if you're critiquing the human resource management discourse, there's ambiguities in the soft and hard schools of human resource management. Selection of the best human resource practice has tended to view in terms of standardizing and objectifying the selection process. Conflict is structured into the management of pay. Trust relationship between managers and workforces are typically lacking. That sometimes can be an understatement. And human resource practices have given rise to a shift from long-term or relational employment contracts between employers and employees towards short-term transactional and precarious contracts, which contradicts the goal of follower commitment and cooperation and relational leadership values. And with that, we've reached the end of our discussion of that chapter. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. Stay safe, and we'll talk again next week.